Great job, mathematicians. If you wrote that I was categorizing based on how the numbers looked and how they were written, you are completely right. And that's what we're going to be doing for today's lesson. We're going to look at how numbers are written and how we read numbers. These two skills are extremely important for you to use as mathematicians. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to look at is our place value chart. You'll notice that our place value chart today is a little bit different than our last lesson, and that is because there's an additional place value. That is the millions. We're not going to utilize that today because if we look at our numbers here, they just don't go all the way up to the millions. If they did, there would be another digit here, here, and this one would also have an additional digit. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out the millions, and we'll get to that as you practice these skills a little bit longer. So we're going to start with our first number. And if I read this out loud to myself, I can see that there's a comma. So I have one period here and one period here. A period is a group of 3 place values. So I can read it as 262, but I don't stop there. I need to read it as 262,400. I have 2 periods. The easiest way for me to start to break this number apart is to draw it on my place value chart. So in your math journal or on your piece of paper, you can draw your place value chart and then start to draw in this number. I'm going to start all the way to the right side here, okay? So all the way to the right side in the ones place value, I have 0. So I'm not going to put any of these cubes into the 1 spot. If I move over to the 10 spot, I also have 0. So the value is 0. I don't need to add any tens cubes into my place value chart. But then I get to my third place value, which is a 4, meaning the 4 lands in the hundreds. So I need 4 hundreds. Here we go. 100, 200, 300, 400. Beautiful. Now I'm in my thousands place value. In the thousands place value, there is a 2, which means I need 2,000 little cubes. I don't need 2,000 of these. I need 2 of these because one has 1,000 in it and the other has another 1,000 in it. So now I'm showing 2,000. Okay, we're almost done. In my 10,000s place value, if I bump over one more place value, I have a 6, which means I need 6 of these because in this guy right here, there are 10,000 cubes. So I need 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 cubes. And finally, all the way in my 100,000s place value, we have our last 2. Now, if this right here shows that there is 100,000 in this group, I need 2 of those groups. So I'm going to take one of those groups and another of those groups. Okay, great. I've now showcased right here, we'll put it in yellow, my first number. Okay. Now the reason I decided to put this on my place value chart first is it makes it a little bit easier to understand all 3 of these forms. The first form we call standard form. Standard form is just the way it looks with digits. This is our most commonly used form. We write numbers all the time with their digits. Okay, you're using digits 0 all the way to 9. So in this case, 262,400 is the standard form. After our standard form, we can look at our word form. All the word form is a way to write numbers by using words. So we take our standard form and we use our words to describe that same number. So 262,000, if I turn that into my words, it looks like this. 262,000 and 400 turns into 400. That's it. Finally, this is where we're going to use this place value chart that's super important. Let me highlight one more time our final representation of this first number. It's in the yellow. And this is where this becomes extremely important, is for the expanded form. Just like in our previous lesson, we always want to show how much value one digit has. How do we do that? We show it in expanded form. So, for example, our first number here, which is also represented here, we can break it apart. So we're going to start either from the left or from the right. I'll start from the right, since our 100,000s is the biggest. We can see that we have one group of this and another group of this. So we have 200,000s. We write that here. Then we add our next place value. So let's check out what we have in our 10,000 spot. Well, when we put it on our place value chart, we decided that we had 6 of them. Hopefully you remember that. Here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is represented here. If they're 10,000s, that looks like this, but we have 6 of them, that makes this no longer 10 of them, it makes it 60,000, or 6 of them. That is represented here. We could then move to our next place value, which in this case is the thousands. There are 2 of them. So although we say this is 1,000 and this is 1,000, which would look like this, we know there are 2, so we need to change this to 2,000. That is represented here. And finally, we make it to our last place value for this number. It's our last one because there's no value here and no value here. So now we're to the hundreds. We have 100, 200, 300, 400. So although this would be classified as the hundreds, it's actually 4 of them, 400, which is represented here. Please notice that when a place value has nothing in it, you do not write the zeros into the expanded form. You also don't write those zeros in the word form. So we can see them here in the standard form. We write them in. But when we get to the word form, there's no need to say 262,400, 00. That would be silly. Also with expanded form, there's no reason to show the zeros over here, plus 0, plus 0. We don't need to do that because 0 does not have a value here. Okay? We can see the same thing if we were to take this number and place it into our place value chart. We can turn it into word form, and then we can turn it into expanded form, where we show the value of every single digit. We're going to leave off here, and you are going to go practice by yourself.